What's good, people? It's your boy Lowry. What's good, people? It's your boy Lowry. What's good, people?
True hippie.
Yes. Good evening, and welcome to the EverythingLowery Show. It's Thursday. It's that time again. You guys, if you're not here, if you're not on the show, what are you doing with your Thursday evening? Apart from watching Traitors, which is on in an hour, and I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, welcome to the show, everyone. I'm your boy Lowry. This show is your weekly rundown of all of the hottest entertainment news, and I have a great show lined up for you tonight. We're kicking things off with the recent Paramount Skydance layoffs. Then I'll get into what Aaron Pierre discussed about the Blade movie that just doesn't seem to be getting off the ground. After that, we've got some news on something that just dropped today, actually, the Conjuring Prequel. Yes, we are getting another Conjuring movie. And the final season of Stranger Things trailer just dropped today as well. So we're going to get into a bit of that. And plus, another trailer that dropped today, Scream 7. That movie's coming out next year. Pardon me. And then we will wrap everything up. We will wrap the show up with my reviews for The Witcher Season 4 and Riz Ahmed's new movie called Relay. We've got some people in the building. The Rizzle Pie, what is good? Thank you for joining me tonight. Really appreciate that. 1 second, let me just start doing that. Yeah, there we go. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. I had a YouTube comment overnight stating that my mic was a bit low. So if I sound too low, let me know. If I'm clipping, if I sound awful, also let me know too. But before I get into tonight's topics, I just want to go through something quickly. And this trailer dropped earlier this week, out of the blue, for a new commercial product, which is a home robot. Now, I thought we were like at least 10 years away from any sort of like robotics in the home. But this company called 1X, they dropped this trailer earlier this week. And I just want to show you guys that iRobot is officially here. So let's get into this trailer quickly. So this is like a fully automated robot, home robot. Let me just skip through the trailer here. So you create a list of- it's supposed to like help you out with home tasks like taking out the bins, getting you a glass of water when you need one, when you can't be bothered to get up. It's also supposed to do like laundry, something more specific, like here, do your gardening,
or something more general, like tidying the house. Your Neo will get it done at the scheduled time.
If there are any chores that your Neo hasn't learned how to do autonomously, you can use expert mode to have an expert from 1X supervise the session and provide corrective intervention to help Neo complete any task.
iRobot is here, guys. Like, I thought we were so far away from this. Like, imagine having a robot do the tasks that you don't want to do. That would be amazing, but scary at the same time. This is absolutely insane. People will forget. Well, that was WALL-E. That was what WALL-E was talking about. People just got so lazy with robots and AI doing stuff that we just ended up being fat slobs at the end of it. But
anytime you're away from home and you want to see what your Neo's up to, you can open the app and see directly from Neo's point of view.
And by the way, to have this robot in your house, you have to allow the company to be able to record everything that's in your home, because that is the only way that it's going to learn, because it is an AI robot, so it has to learn with things around the home. But yeah, I thought it's really cool, but it's really scary at the same time. You know, having this robot just walk around your house, I don't know, man. I like I keep saying, iRobot is officially here, and apparently it's going to be on sale next year. It's going to cost around $20,000 to buy. I think it's only going to be in North America at the start. I think there's going to be like a monthly subscription fee of like $400 or something like that. But yeah, we are in the future. I mean, AI has transcended us to levels that I didn't think we would get to right now. And now that you've got robotics, boy, I don't know. But yeah, I thought I'd just start the show with something cool and scary at the same time. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about iRobot finally being here. All right, cool. Let's get into tonight's topics. And like I said, the first topic for tonight is going to be about Paramount and their recent layoffs. So let's get into the news. So Paramount Skydance is aiming to get leaner and meaner, and today is laying off about 1,000 employees, mostly in the US. David Ellison, chairman and CEO of Paramount, sent employees a memo about the company-wide cuts, saying that these steps are necessary to position Paramount for long-term success. Here's a quote from the email that was sent to employees. So it says here, "We want to be as open and direct as possible about the reasons behind these changes." Ellison wrote in an email, a copy of which was obtained by Variety. "In some areas, we are addressing redundancies that have emerged across the organization. In others, we are phasing out roles that are no longer aligned with our evolving priorities and the new structure designed to strengthen our focus on growth. Ultimately, these steps are necessary to position Paramount for long-term success. The layoffs will cut across Paramount's divisions, including TV, film, streaming, and corporate departments. Following Wednesday's pink slips, an additional wave of job eliminations is expected to follow, with the target of axing around 2,000 jobs in the US and overseas. All told, that the layoffs will reduce the company's workforce by 10%. Jeez, man. I mean, first of all, just sorry to the people that have lost their jobs overnight. 2,000 is a lot. 2,000 jobs is a lot. And I just hope, the guys that unfortunately have been made redundant are able to bounce back really quickly, because, the CEO, David Ellison, says that the cuts are to position Paramount for long-term success. Like he said, the reasons given are there's redundant roles that they no longer need, jobs that don't align with the priorities of Paramount, and it's supposed to be part of a restructuring to be leaner and growth focused. Quite surprising that the departments that are being hit are their main departments, like TV and film and streaming. I thought they would be kind of lucrative divisions. More the back end stuff is normally when you hear people are being let go, but this is company wide. Also, you're starting, the company says, well, from this article here, it says that the cuts aim to cut costs by $2 billion, which is a huge cost cutting exercise. Paramount have already dropped their workforce over the past 5 years. So in 2022, they had a workforce of around 24,500 employees. Then in 2024, they had downsized to 18,600, around about that. And also, I think there was another domestic reduction in the US of around 3.5% in June. But despite these layoffs, Paramount recently signed a deal with the UFC for about 7.7 billion. This is a 7-year deal to have the rights for Paramount to show the UFC, and also they bought the Free Press, which is a news website, and that cost around a reported $150 million. There's also rumors of the possible purchasing of Warner Bros. Discovery. As I mentioned on last week's show, that Warner Bros. Is up for sale, but there's been no extra news about that so far. But do you think these layoffs are genuinely strategic, or do you think they're short-sighted? Because, there's a bit of mixed signals here. Paramount Skydance is cutting jobs while continuing to spend billions elsewhere. Like, couldn't those billions have been used to maybe train other people to be put into departments that can help with growth and the restructuring of Paramount? To me, how do you justify laying off thousands of employees while spending 7.7 billion on UFC rights? I get it. I get it, but at the same time, it's that's hard to justify. Look, this is an industry trend. We are seeing this across all verticals in business this year and last year. Definitely with the tech companies. This year more so seems to be with the major Hollywood studios. So Disney had cuts earlier this year. Warner Bros. Discovery, Netflix unfortunately had cuts. Amazon had cuts in this and is still continuing to have cuts, and I think they're positioned to lay off more people. So it shows that Hollywood is definitely tightening post the streaming boom that happened during COVID. And like I've mentioned on my show many times, the streaming wars we're in the middle of it. That the streaming was looked upon as this gold mine, like it was going to bring an abundance of money. You're going to be able to keep up with trends, put out TV shows and movies every single week. No one's going to the cinema. No one's gonna be outside after COVID and such. And as we can see now, that thought process just was so far away from reality. And now we're starting to see companies join each other, companies buy each other, companies restructure their business because they look to put their whole eggs in one basket with streaming. And like I've mentioned on previous shows, the streaming wars are happening. There's so many streaming platforms now. If you were to add up, I don't know, the big 5 streaming platforms, they're going to cost you well over $100 a month, £100 a month. And we wanted to get into streaming because it was looked upon as the cheaper way compared to cable television. But it looks now, we're seeing Paramount buy UFC rights. Apple recently had bought the Formula One rights for the US. I think Sky still has it for the UK and Europe. Netflix, they've been showcasing boxing matches. They had Beyonce perform a halftime on Christmas Day at one of the NFL games. They've got a boxing match coming up. So we're right in the thick of it with streaming wars, guys. And unfortunately, these layoffs are part of it. I'm not saying that streaming is all of it, but streaming does contribute to a big part of this. And it looks like Paramount's key focuses going forward are they're going to double down with bigger franchises, live sports and event content. And yeah, that seems to be their focus going forward. But yeah, I just want to say, I hope the people that have had that have been made redundant, I hope they are able to bounce back on their feet as quick as possible, because yeah, the job market is definitely tough right now. But yeah, it's just surprising. I thought that Paramount were cool, but it doesn't seem to be the case, man. And yeah, that's about it on this news story. But when more news does become available, I'll be of course keeping you guys in the loop. But let me know, guys, let me know your thoughts on this. is it right for Paramount to let go of that many people? Should they? Or do you agree with them? Is it business is business and it is what it is type of thing? Let me know in the comments. All right, cool. We are moving on to the next topic. And guys, is this Blade movie ever going to come out? Are we going to see the MCU Blade movie? Because I'm starting to feel that this film is not going to see the light of day. Here we've got an article, which is not the official article, but they kind of broke it down on this website. So it says here that DC Universe star, so Aaron Pierre, explained why he exited Marvel's long-delayed Blade reboot. The actor, he had an article, an interview with Men's Health magazine, and he basically reflects on many things. The article, it shows his rise from his childhood to his rise in Hollywood and his career. And the article covers key roles in his career, and the breakout series, The Underground Railroad, Rebel Ridge, which was a movie on Netflix, which really, I think, kind of propelled him to that next action man level. And then the news came out that he was cast in the MCU Blade movie, but then exited when the film took a different direction. And that's the bit I want to discuss. So this article here, basically, in a nutshell, takes an excerpt from that magazine interview. And it just said here that Aaron Pierre revealed that his departure from Marvel Studios' Blade was due to creative changes within the project. This is a quote from the Men's Health magazine, and it said here, "I remember being cast in Blade and feeling elated," he told Men's Health. "But something I learned during that time was that until you step foot on set, you haven't commenced work. It just took a different creative direction, and I was no longer part of it. You have to accept that." I mean, I don't know when this Blade film's going to happen. I mean, this Blade movie was supposed to have Mahershala Ali, Delroy Lindo, Mia Goth, and Aaron Pierre. And now Aaron Pierre's no longer going to be in the film. Delroy Lindo's no longer going to be in the film. And the only two that we have left, from what we know, because we've not had any updates, is Mahershala Ali as Blade and Mia Goth, who's supposed to play a villain in this movie. We don't know the name of the villain, but she's supposed to be the villain in this film. And this Blade movie has I just don't understand it. Announced in 2019. Since then, it's had multiple rewrites, so many director changes. There have been rumors that there was one version of Blade that focused more on his daughter in the plot. There was one with I think a 1920 setting, and then there was a rumor of one being set in modern day. I don't know where to stand with this. It's so confusing. Like, how hard is it to get a Blade movie off the ground? Also, a costume designer by the name of Ruth E. Carter, who was actually prepping a period piece version of Blade for Marvel Studios, with Mahershala Ali attached, revealed that she actually had a warehouse of period costumes made for that earlier version of the film. And many of those items reportedly ended up being used for Sinners. So that news kind of ties in with the rumors online of that original Blade draft was supposed to be set in that 1920s period, and there were rumors saying that Disney got cold feet because Sinners was coming out, and we saw what Sinners did at the box office, and maybe Disney just didn't want to have a film like Sinners that maybe would not have been as good as Sinners, and a lot of people would have been comparing both movies. These were the rumors online, but yeah, it's just confusing. I don't know. I mean, the Blade film is an iconic film. Wesley Snipes, that movie basically showcased to the industry that comic book movies were profitable and people would go to the cinema and watch comic book movies. Without that Blade film, we don't get the MCU. So yeah, it's just baffling as to how long When is it going to come out? There's now rumors stating that they're going to wait till after Secret Wars. So we have Doomsday next year, which is an Avenger film, and then following that year is Secret Wars, and then post Secret Wars is when everything is supposed to reset. We're going to get new characters. Some characters we're going to lose, and then there's going to be one unified Marvel universe where you're going to have the Avengers, you're going to have X-Men, you're going to have the Fantastic Four and other characters that people have always wanted to see in the MCU. And there's rumors saying that then the Mahershala Ali Blade will feature in that universe going forward. But it's sad because I like Aaron Pierre. I liked him in that Netflix movie Rebel Ridge, and he's just got a cool aura about him, and it would have been cool to see him alongside Mahershala Ali, Delroy Lindo, but now he's playing Jon Stewart in the Green Lantern HBO TV series, and James Gunn seems to be nailing everything in the DC universe. So maybe for his career, it was probably now the better move. And that series is going to star Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan, and then with Aaron playing Jon Stewart, who is a Green Lantern. But look, as of now, Blade is still in development, and it's most likely that the Lanterns TV series will hit our screens before a Blade movie hits the cinema. But yeah, I thought I'd just bring that to your attention. It's a really cool article, by the way. So it's Men's Health. Definitely check it out. And he just, goes from him growing up in West Croydon, and just his mindset and thought process to get where he's at. So, yeah. And also I was at a Predator after party, earlier this week. And I spoke to someone who actually has just finished shooting a movie with Aaron Pierre, and he said he's such a cool guy, like a really cool guy. So that's nice to know that on screen he seems like a cool guy and he's likable, and off screen it holds up as well. So but let me know, guys, are you excited for a new Blade movie? Do you want to see Mahershala Ali as Blade, or like we saw in Deadpool and Wolverine, do you want to see Wesley Snipes come back? I wouldn't mind that. Just saying. Also, guys, I can see we've got more viewers. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already, like the stream. I hate doing these algorithm stuff, but I have to ask because otherwise the stream doesn't reach out to more people. So if you haven't already, like the stream, share it with people if there's people that are interested in movie and TV talk. And we are so close to 700 subscribers. We're one away. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you subscribe. All right, cool. Taking it to the next topic for tonight. And guys, we are getting another Conjuring movie. Words that I'm not surprised I am saying on stream. Let's get into the news. So this is an article on Variety, and they say audiences haven't seen the last of paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, who will return in another Conjuring movie. A prequel film is in development at Warner Bros. And New Line, with short film director Gregory Hewitt in talks to direct. Franchise veterans Rob Niang and Ian Goldberg, who co-wrote the two prior Conjuring films and 2023's The Nun 2, and this September's The Conjuring Last Rites, are on board to pen the screenplay. No deals have been closed at this time. The Conjuring Last Rites was billed as the final installment in the paranormal series. However, it quickly became clear that that wouldn't be the case after the film became an outsized box office hit, earning a franchise best of $487 million globally. Are we surprised, guys? Are we surprised? Like, they said that was going to be the last Conjuring film. No, it weren't. Look, I don't know how to feel about this because, I mean, if you're telling me that The Conjuring Last Rites was supposed to be the final installment, then just make it final. But I do like horror films, and I didn't mind the Conjuring Last Rites. It wasn't the best. I still think the first one and the second movie were top tier. I didn't like The Devil Made Me Do It. I didn't like that one. So the most recent one is probably my third favorite. But look, if it's going to be a prequel, it's going to focus on the early years of Ed and Lorraine Warren. We're likely to get new actors. I highly doubt Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson will return, as they did interviews and there was stuff online saying that they won't return for a new one. Having said that, as well as the horror being really good in the early Conjuring films, and the Conjuring as a whole with The Nun and Annabelle and stuff, we liked the Conjuring because of Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson. Their chemistry on screen was such a major draw to those films. So having new actors, it's a risk, because can that new cast capture the same chemistry that made the Warrens so iconic? Also, is this new prequel film, will people go and watch a prequel film of The Conjuring knowing how it ends? Normally with a prequel, the ending isn't clear, so they kind of use a prequel to go forward. Now that we know how it ends, we're just going to be seeing the same old stuff that we've seen before. Will you guys go and watch it? Let me know. But like I said, look, I understand why this prequel's being made. The franchise has earned $2.7 billion, so it's one of the highest grossing franchises of all time. And horror movies right now, guys, if you're seeing how they're performing at the box office, why am I going to stop? Why am I going to stop putting Conjuring movies out? I mean, if I just go through the list of horror movies that have been released over the past year or 2 years. So we had Sinners, $90 million cost to make. It earned $366 million worldwide. Maxine cost $10 million, made $22 million worldwide. Alien Romulus, there was no clear budget, but it was supposed to be a profitable film. It made $351 million worldwide. Black Phone 2, a film that I didn't enjoy, cost $30 million to make, but that still made $86 million. So, yeah, horror films, if you get them right, super profitable. So from a Warner Brothers perspective, a CEO perspective, yeah, you can say Last Rites is the last one, but we're making another one for next year. They already confirmed that there's going to be a HBO TV series about The Conjuring, or set in the Conjuring universe. So we may not see Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, but we're going to see way more Conjuring now going forward. And that does kind of demonstrate franchises moving from film to TV, which is quite a rare case and extremely difficult to get right. But TV does allow for deeper world building. We just saw this with Alien Earth, which I really enjoyed. The ending was a bit wild and wacky, but for the most part, Alien Earth was good. And also the It prequel, Welcome to Derry, which is out now. I've not watched episode 1 yet, so next week I should have my review for episode 1 and 2, because I've been hearing really good things about that series. Yeah, so it makes sense why these horror franchises are continuing in different formats. But yeah, look, Conjuring universe, it's not just movies now, man. It's up there with the Fast and Furious. It's now a multimedia franchise that we're going to see. We're probably going to see Conjuring in space one day. I don't know. We've got some comments here. Let's see. I thought they said that was the last one. Trust me, this is what I'm saying. I thought, it says it in the title, The Last Rites. Like, another one. Yes, another one's coming. I wouldn't mind though. I feel like they could end the sequel better. Bill's got to get paid. Yeah. Warner Brother Bill's got to get paid. If we see Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson return, then we know Bill's definitely got to get paid, because they are going to have to do a lot of de-aging to get them looking young. And in The Last Rites, to be honest, actually, they had the two actors play the young versions of them. So maybe they could get those guys to reprise their role. I don't know. When is Scream coming out? Going to get into that later on in the show, actually. So, but yeah, look, guys, we are getting a Conjuring prequel movie alongside a Conjuring television show or a HBO series set in the world of Conjuring. There's rumors of a third Nun movie, another Annabelle film, and I think there's another entity from the Conjuring that the original director wants to make. So this isn't going to be the end of Conjuring things happening. So if you are a fan of the franchise, you're in good hands. You're in good hands. But yeah, let me know. Are you guys excited for that? Are you not? Let me know in the comments. And yeah, we'll take it to the. And of course, when more news becomes available for that, I'll be keeping you guys in the loop. All right, let's get to the big one, or one of the big ones. We got the Stranger Things trailer, man. And now, unfortunately, guys, I can't play trailers anymore because if you don't know, I get copyright strikes every time I play a trailer. I would love to play trailers with you and talk about it, but I have to keep it to pictures and text. If you want to watch it after the show. But yeah, we received the first trailer for part 1 of Stranger Things season 5, which is set to launch on the 26th of November. My gosh, it's finally the end of Stranger Things. This series started in 2016, almost 10 years, and we only got 5 seasons. How does that work? 5 seasons in 10 years? And it's like, what, 6 to 8 episodes per season? But I'm just happy it's here. I am a Stranger Things fan. I will say I was a bit late to the party. My little sister put me on Stranger Things. I know she's in the chat at the moment. But yeah, man. 26th of November, the first 4 episodes of the final season of Stranger Things. And look, we're expecting big things. Well, I'm expecting big things from this. The last season was in 2022. I know they had a writer's strike and other delays and stuff, but when I'm watching pictures, when I'm seeing interviews and stuff with the cast, most of these guys have beards. Like, you guys are supposed to be kids. Now you guys got full-on beards and stuff. So yeah, I'm expecting big things for the wait. Some key things that have come out about this trailer. We have been promised that this final season is going to be the final season, and it's going to be a complete story. So all character arcs are going to be resolved. Some of the key trailer moments that I can talk about. So from the trailer, Vecna, who is the main big bad villain from the previous season, does return and is threatening Hawkins. Hawkins is under like some kind of quarantine. We're seeing demigorgons and demogorgon dogs, if that's the name of them, attack Hawkins. There's a part in the trailer where Lucas is holding Max, who seems to be in like a comatose state in a hospital elevator, getting chased by one of the demogorgons, and it just cuts. You're like, what the heck's happening to them? Eleven and Hopper are in the upside down world. Eleven also has these like new powers, like she's able to like fly, or what looks like fly. Like she can, you know, like how Wanda is able to like fly with magic in her hands. Like that's what she's doing in the trailer. I don't recall 11 doing that. I've always just seen her just put her hand out and then her nose bleed and things happen. So maybe her powers have advanced during this time. I don't even know when the time period is going to be for this new season. There's also some stuff happening around Will. We see Vecna in this military base. He's like bodied bare dead soldiers. And then the trailer ends with Vecna telling Will, as he's like levitating him off the ground, like Voldemort, that Will is going to help him one more time. And then it cuts. Really good trailer. Really, and I don't normally watch trailers, but this was a good trailer. All of this is backed by Queens Who Wants to Live Forever, so it sets that dramatic stake that's at hand and in this in this new season. We see the returning cast, so they're all in there. There was one new addition of Linda Hamilton as a military leader in Hawkins. But yeah, man, the stakes are super high for this new season of Stranger Things. The upside down world is finally coming into the real world, so we're going to see the effects of that. Like I mentioned already, all major characters are going to have separate but major intersecting story arcs, and it's going to be interesting to see how these all tie together. It looks extremely action-packed. I've not seen this much action before in any Stranger Things series, so they're really hitting the ground running, what it looks like from this first part. Like I said at the start, the creators are making big promises. They are going to answer long-standing mysteries. The Mind Flayer, where did these Demogorgons come from? Vecna. We had the creation of Vecna and how Vecna came about, but we also want to find, what's his end goal? Why is he doing what he's doing? Why he's doing what he's doing? Why does there seem to be this connection with Will? And also, you know what? I might have to rewatch it. I don't know if I've got enough time to rewatch this. Just under a month left. But what the upside down world is, like, there's a question mark on that. I recall. But look, this is the last chance to wrap everything up. And it looks like they're going all out. Big budget. I mean, most of these episodes are like an hour long. It looks high quality. And like I mentioned in my last stream last week, the final episode is being shown in cinemas at the same time as it releases on Netflix. So, and that final episode is 2 hours long. So that's like an Avenger movie. That's like an Avenger movie ending. So look, we had the Stranger Things 5 trailer. That's just my key takeaways from it. I am excited. I'm happy that we're finally getting it. It looks really cool. Let me know in the chat if you guys are Stranger Things fans. And like I said, this releases, so the first 4 episodes release on the 26th of November, followed by 3 episodes on Christmas Day, and then the final episode is on New Year's Eve. And yeah, we will see how everything ends. Well, how are we doing for time? Oh, we're doing all right for time tonight, actually. All right. Any Stranger Things fans in the chat, let me know. In the meantime, I'll take it to the next trailer that drops tonight, and we're gonna get into Scream 7. So yeah, the Scream 7 trailer dropped, I think, at the same time as Stranger Things, and Sydney Prescott is back, man. Neve Campbell is back, and she's returning to face Ghostface once again. So for those of you who are fans of Scream, Neve Campbell, she didn't feature in the previous Scream movie, and it came out due to a pay dispute with the actor. So it's quite surprising to see her back in this film, and I will get into that in a moment. But look, the trailer opens with Ghostface taunting Sydney, saying that did you miss me, in that Ghostface voice over a phone. And Sydney has a daughter called Tatum, who's played by Isabel May, and now Ghostface is targeting Sydney's daughter in the film. And the intro is kind of like you would have in a typical Scream movie, and then it switches over to Sydney living her life now somewhere totally different. But for some reason, Ghostface is where she's at. And then Ghostface kind of like attacks her in her house, and she has this panic room that she's able to bring her family into. Then the family are trying to like move throughout the house without Ghostface finding them, and he starts stabbing the wall because they're in between the walls. Just typical Scream stuff. And then out of that, Tatum, her daughter, now wants to become a fighter like her mother, which is typical in horror movies. Courtney Cox does return as Gail Weathers. There are rumors that David Arquette is rumored to appear as Dewey, despite, spoiler warning if you haven't, actually no, I won't say, just in case if you guys haven't watched the the 2022 Scream, despite what happens to his character in that film. There's someone back from Scream 3. But yeah, look, Scream 7, I liked the kind of, they called it what, a reboot sequel. And I thought the Scream 5 was really good. 6 was good. And let's see, just seen in the chat here. Can't wait for this. Oh, so we've got some Scream fans in the chat. Are you going to watch this one in the cinema, or are you going to wait for streaming? But yeah, sorry, back to that. But obviously the big talking point from this film is the Melissa Barrera. Now, Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera played sisters in the previous 2 Scream movies, and they definitely helped to refresh this franchise and push it into a new direction, which is why the creators of Scream were to Nev Campbell like, yeah, we're not going to pay you that much because we have these two are our focus. And you could definitely see the narrative was focusing more on the sisters and not Sydney. But Melissa Barrera was fired for posting pro-Palestine posts on her Instagram and other social media platforms, and she was just dropped. That's exactly what happened. And then shortly after, Jenna Ortega left, but her reasoning was for clashes with other projects that she was finishing. Coincidence? I don't know, but that was what was being reported at the time. So look, I don't know if this Scream 7, is it going to get right? Is it going to do it right? Because going back to Sydney, we've seen it so many times, and you know, are they going to do it right, or is it just going to be nostalgia bait? We kind of want, and like I said, when Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega joined the franchise, it was taking it into a new direction. Now the franchise seems to be like going back. So is this franchise fully reliant on OG faces to survive? And that's not really a good thing to be in, because you do need fresh actors, fresh narratives and stuff to keep something going. If you always have to rely on OG faces, then it might be a sign that you might just need to hang up the boots and give it up. The only thing about Sydney's daughter, like she's training her in the trailer, it's giving me that Terminator Dark Fate energy, which was not a good film. What else is in there? I'm just reading through my notes on that. In addition to Melissa and Jenna Ortega, the director also walked out. So they had a full creative shift from what the original Scream 7 was going to be about. And look, many people, and I've seen this on Twitter, I've seen this in the YouTube comments, they are very vocal on supporting this movie. Extremely vocal. And Melissa Barrera, especially, for the reason as to why she was let go, people are saying, I ain't watching this in cinema. Which, for a Scream, everyone goes to watch this in the cinema. But with how they dealt with that situation, which I agree was totally not right, they should never have done that. We're going to see how getting rid of one of your most important characters in this new franchise will affect your box office numbers, because is Sidney Prescott still relevant in this generation? I don't know. There's a fan theory as well of Stu returning, so it kind of looks like they're just trying to get, panic button was hit, we need to get everyone back, to get everyone in the cinema to watch this, because we just lost our main narrative focus overnight. So look, it will be interesting to see how this movie plays out. The trailer looks cool. It doesn't do anything spectacular, but it looks like a Scream film that I would watch. yeah, that is all that I have on it, man. This film is releasing on the 27th of February next year. And yeah, this will probably be the only trailer that I watch because, yeah, other trailers would just ruin everything as they do normally. We've got some more comments here. Let's see. Definitely a cinema watch. Okay, cool. We got some cinema goers. That's something you've got to watch too. Yeah, I agree. I do. I definitely agree. It's just jarring what they did to Melissa and Jenna. They messed up big time. I would have loved to have seen that. That's the thing with this Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera narrative. You could see Melissa's character kind of edging towards becoming a Ghostface, and that would have been a really cool twist to see, because she starts off being her sister being chased by Ghostface, and they were kind of like alluding to this gene, this murder gene, and Melissa's character was kind of leaning more towards that. As we started to see the film progress, she started to see visions of her dad and stuff. So yeah, I think they had something really cool going on, but yeah, we're not going to see the light of day, unfortunately. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they bring back characters that were once dead, come back in this Scream 7, and how they will explain that. Because yeah, that's one thing they got to do well, is if they are going to be bringing back legacy characters that have been killed or we've not seen in ages, there needs to be some sort of plausible reason as to why they're back in this Scream 7. So we shall see. It says here, it would have been so cool to see her become Ghostface. Definitely. And that would have been such a major twist. Like, it's something that you could see happening, but there was always that, is it going to happen? Will it happen? Is it not going to happen? But yeah, as Kanye said, we'll never know. All right, cool. We are in the last 10 minutes of the show. I appreciate you guys joining in with me, and I'm going to be getting into 2 reviews. And the first review for tonight is going to be for The Witcher season 4. Now, I was able to watch this series early, but I was only able to review this today. Now, I'll give you a bit of information in this reviewing world. Whenever I go to watch a film early, or I get sent screener episodes online to watch in time for its release, whenever a embargo, so the embargo is basically when you can talk about something. Whenever the embargo is the day of release or the night before release, 9 times out of 10, that title is not good. It's not good. Like, and you can also tell that the production company are not confident with the title, and they want to limit the amount of bad press it gets, because they want people to watch it without having hearsay make someone not watch something. It's not always the case. There have been some instances where I've watched something really like a Marvel film or something on the likes of that, and because of what happens in that movie, they want to limit the spoiler stuff. So that I understand. But yeah, look, The Witcher season 4 is out on Netflix now, all 8 episodes. It's the first season without Henry Cavill, and obviously it's a big changing of the guard moment. And the question that everyone had going into this new season was simple: can the show survive the switch to Liam Hemsworth? And honestly, I think he does a good job. Now, those are huge shoes to fill, and I don't think anyone realistically expected him to surpass Henry's performance as Geralt, because he wasn't just Henry Cavill wasn't just playing that character; he embodied him, his whole aura. And Henry was a big fan of The Witcher. He's read the books. I believe he's played the game, so he understood a lot of the lore and a lot of the stuff behind becoming this character Geralt. Now Liam, he doesn't come in to try and do a straight impression of Henry Cavill's character. He does kind of bring his own flavor, and I felt that the show handles the changing of the guard pretty well. Actually, the first episode has it basically transitions us into the new Witcher pretty cool. It eases you in without just having like some jump cut from Henry Cavill to Liam Hemsworth. Now look, I've not played the games or read the books, so my only my only experience with The Witcher was watching it through the Netflix television show, and I'll say there was something about Cavill's presence that is rare to see, and in most like his Superman performance was pretty rare, even though David Corenswet did well as the new Superman. And I think for this character as well, it was more so Henry Cavill's embodiment of Geralt. He had weight, he had that gravitas. Liam doesn't always hit the same level, but it's not a knock on Liam, because it's just because Henry Cavill's him. That's the only way to explain it. It's not saying that Liam did anything bad, but yeah, if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. But yeah, what is interesting is that the show doesn't really acknowledge the change in the character at all. The characters just carry on like nothing happened, similar to what Fresh Prince of Bel-Air did when they changed the Art Viv around. But the opening episode does give the adjustment to the viewer. So we see some reenactment, we see some moments recreated, some iconic moments from the previous Netflix episodes recreated. And I think it actually worked pretty well. Because in my head, I was like, how are they going to transition us to Liam Hemsworth? How are they going to do that? And they do it well. In terms of the worlds, the tone, the monsters, the brutality, the magic, it's all still very much The Witcher. The production quality is still high. Fight scenes are visceral. And, you know, there are some really creative creature designs this season. That part of The Witcher hasn't fallen off. Where things slip for me, though, is the story structure, especially in the first half. The early episodes, I was bored. Then the middle just is extremely lackluster. You've got like three main storylines that are happening at the same time. So you've got Geralt searching for Ciri, you've got Ciri's journey with the rats, and then you've got Yennefer preparing to fight Vilgefortz. And you've got all of these three storylines happening at the same time. And instead of like weaving together, it feels like three separate shows running at the same time. Individually, they're not the best, but they're cool. Like, you'd be like, all right, yeah, whatever. But there isn't much cohesion, and it's not until like episode 6, bear in mind this is an 8-episode series, where the show, in my opinion, starts to find its groove again, and it starts feeling like The Witcher. And episode 6, I think it was, or 7, where there's a massive fight scene, was really like, I really enjoyed that episode. So unfortunately, a large majority of this season is lackluster. That's the only way for me to say it. And the only way I can put it is that it feels like a setup season building towards season 5, which is going to be the last season of The Witcher. Character-wise, Ciri's arc didn't really hit for me this season. I understand the rat storyline is important to the books, but it just felt flat. I didn't feel any urgency, any growth, or anything like that, and I could have done without that, to be honest. I wasn't really invested with her group or what was happening. On the flip side, Yennefer absolutely carries when she's on screen. This is easily one of the strongest emotional arc in this season. And she's preparing for this inevitable confrontation with Vilgefortz, and she's rallying people, she's training people. And when things finally kick off, the sequences are some of the most engaging moments of the whole season. As for chemistry, and this was a big thing in the previous Witcher series, it's kind of hard to judge because Geralt doesn't really spend any time with Yen or Ciri this season. So yeah, that found family energy isn't gone, but it's muted a bit. Action wise though, no complaints. When it happens, it's still brutal, still feels expensive. They didn't cheap out on the CGI and stuff. Pacing and writing, like I said, the first 5 episodes felt bloated and sluggish. There's no way around that feeling, unfortunately. But once the show gets moving towards the end, it definitely starts to pull itself together. And it finishes somewhat strong enough for where I do want to see this end. Just about. So the bottom line is, if you're already invested in The Witcher, stick with it. You know, this season doesn't totally collapse. Liam Hemsworth shows that he can be Geralt. Even if us viewers are still adjusting. I'm not saying he matches Henry Cavill at all, but I still think he did a good job. It feels more of like a transitional chapter and preparing us for the final events of in season 5. In saying that, they really have to knock season 5 out of the park for me. You can't have more than half a season being lackluster and boring and just waiting for the final 3 episodes to carry it. I really need season 5 to be boom, boom, like banger after banger episode. So look, I'm curious to see where it goes. And with all things said, you know, the situation that they were in with Henry Cavill leaving, they handled it the best way they could. So yeah, that is my review on The Witcher. Let me know if you guys are fans of The Witcher, or you're just like, Kyle, you were just rambling on for 5 minutes. I don't even care about this Witcher TV series. Let me know in the comments. All right, cool. Bringing it to the last review of tonight, and it's for a cinema film. And it's for a film called Relay. This is a new film directed by David Mackenzie, and it stars Riz Ahmed, Lily James, and Sam Worthington. And this is a film that I liked. This is a surveillance paranoid thriller, like I said, led by Riz Ahmed. I'm a big fan of Riz Ahmed in general, and for me, once again, he delivers something quite memorable. Again, he just has this way of drawing you in with this subtle intensity, whether it's like his performance in The Night of, Sound of Metal, Mogul Mowgli. You know, his performances always draw you in, like a slow burner, draw you in. And this performance sits right along those performances, in my opinion. Here he's playing a fixer in a very niche illegal world. He's basically a middleman for whistleblowers inside corrupt corporations. And basically, if someone has evidence but loses the nerve to expose the company that they were going to whistleblow against, Riz Ahmed's character helps them return that information safely for a price, and he also will still hold a copy as insurance. So the big brother doesn't do anything to either him or the person who has the leaked documents or whatever it was, and he does this all through like a real telecommunications relay system that is used by deaf and speech impaired callers. So it kind of gives the film a fascinating, authentic angle. What we see with him here is like he plays a character who is incredibly disciplined, no digital footprint, always off grid, always thinking 3 moves ahead because of the niche world that he's in. He lives by rules and contingency plans, A, B, C, D, all the way to Z. He's methodical, emotionless in this process. But tension kicks in when, for what feels like the first time in his career, things go sideways and an emotional stake breaks through that armor. And watching him navigate that crack in the system is one of this film's strongest layers. Now, the concept itself, it's definitely familiar territory. You will recognize notes of Enemy of the State with Will Smith and Gene Hackman. Let's throw in some Bourne Identity, The Night Agent. That whole cat and mouse surveillance world, definitely this film pulls inspiration from those type of titles. But I would say that Relay approaches it differently. It's grounded, modern. extremely believable, set in New York with real structures and systems and just a organic ecosystem, and it's all, you know, understated but credible, and that grounded tone makes the stakes in the film feel extremely real. In terms of like the direction and the tone of the film, if you're someone who enjoys surveillance thriller movies like I do, then you will be locked in for the most part of this film. There's a tension that never fully lets go, and laid on top of that is a character study about someone who has always lived by strict rules, suddenly confronted with a situation where emotion complicates that discipline, and that kind of adds a human element to the film. Pacing wise, I'll be honest, most of the film is tight, but there's a middle section that does dip a bit, and at times you will feel the runtime. It's close to 2 hours. It's like an hour and 50. Personally, for me, I think maybe like a 10-15 minutes could have been shaved off the film. That would have made more of a tighter cut and would have, you know, hit the ground. Like that pace would have just been non-stop throughout the film. Like I mentioned, alongside Riz Ahmed, you had Lily James, who is fantastic. She plays the woman that Riz Ahmed's character is helping, and she brings a grounded emotional urgency to the film. And also Sam Worthington, who stars, he plays a very sinister role in this film, and it's quite refreshing to see him outside of featuring only, from what I see of him, only in the Avatar movies. So yeah, strong cast across the board, but yeah, Riz Ahmed and Lily James have a compelling on-screen dynamic, and I won't say why because I don't do spoilers in my reviews, but it was great to see them on screen. I'd say, like, cinematography wise, there isn't anything to be flashy about in this film. It's clean, it's realistic, it's functional cinematography which actually fits the tone of the film. Suspense wise, the film is well handled. I love these type of films with the whole cat and mouse back and forth chase sequences. So you see both sides. You see the side, how one side strategizes and how the other strategizes and how one evades the other. So I kind of like that, and there are moments that definitely surprise me in this film, but again, I won't say what these moments are because I don't do spoilers. Overall, guys, look, if you're a fan of paranoid thrillers, that surveillance drama, big brother stories, big corporate, all of that conspiracy tension, then this is a film for you. Of course, if you're a fan of Riz Ahmed, Lily James, Sam Worthington, then look, they all give you compelling performances that you came for. I would say watch this in the cinemas. Like, I feel it deserves a focused, immersed viewing. That's how I watched it in cinema, and I came out having a great time. Does it push the needle in this genre? No, but overall, I had a good time, and definitely would recommend this film. So this is called Relay, and it's out in cinemas tomorrow, the 31st of October. So right in time for the weekend. And that is it. That is it for tonight's show, man. Let me know if you guys are going to go watch the film that I discussed tonight, Relay. Are you fans of The Witcher? I know Traitors has just started, so people are probably going to be dropping off in a moment. But let me know before I end the show. Also, next week, I'm probably going to start the show later than usual, only because I'm expected to be at a screening next week. I'm still waiting on final details. I can't say for what film it is, but it's a big one. But next week you will see reviews for the new Predator movie. So I was fortunate enough to watch that early, and I can speak more on that next week. There's also a Robin Hood television series, which is out on Amazon's MGM Plus, which is another streaming platform. That's out on this Sunday, the 2nd of November. I can't talk about that. The embargo lifts tomorrow, so I'm probably going to discuss that on next week's show. But the first 2 episodes release on this Sunday on Amazon MGM. Kind of. I've not watched the full series, but it feels like a Game of Thrones Robin Hood type series. It looks pretty cool. What else is there next week? Yeah, that's it for next week. Oh, wait, no, sorry. I've seen so many films. I'm trying to just place them. Yeah, that's it for next week. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for joining me. I will send an update on YouTube for when I'm expected to start the show next week. But I appreciate you joining in for tonight, sticking with me, commenting, liking, sharing, hopefully subscribing. And look, have a good evening. Enjoy Traitors. Have a safe weekend. It's Halloween weekend, so hope you guys, if you are going to any parties, stay safe. Don't drink and drive, and enjoy yourself, most importantly. And yeah, I will catch you same time, same place next week. Everything Lowery Show. Peace.